So this whole time I've been talking about the pen, I've been talking about being on lockdown, I've been talking about cell living. So now you guys get a first-hand dose of what it's like to be stuck in a small space for a long period of time. And you're not even in a small space, because a 6x9 cell in Cali is much different than how we're living now. Like I said on my IG recently, I did not see the fucking night sky for that whole amount of time with the air hitting my face. I saw it through windows. That was about it. These lockdowns were different. You have a lot of freedom. Don't think it can't get worse, because you got to be ready when it does. So the fact is, cell living is a trip. You're with another man in a fucking bathroom for extended periods of time. On the longest lockdown I've been on a racial-based lockdown. A racial-based lockdown is just different. You don't get as many any of your pleasantries because your race has been consistently fucking up. So just you are on lockdown. Unless it's a riot or something, and then all races are on different lockdowns depending on who rioted. If, say, the whites and the blacks rioted, then they're both on lockdown away from each other. If the homies, the Southsiders and the blacks rioted, then they're both on lockdown. Everybody else is out. So, one time I was on the biggest racial-based lockdown. It was just whites on whites. White guys kept stabbing white guys because there was bad motherfuckers on the yard. They were all bad. We use that term all bad when you're a PC, when you're a chomo, when you're a piece of shit, anything like that, you're done. You're done. So there was a lot of dudes on this yard that were all bad, and fools were making the call, pulling their cards, checking their paperwork, checking Megan's Law, figuring out there was chomos. So when they figured that out, fools got to get whacked. So one after another, fools kept getting whacked. So the whites started off on a 60-day lockdown, was turned into a 90-day, was turned into 180 days. And this was one that we were on that was just, it kept extending because every time we came out, fools would just grab some dope, someone would get whacked, we'd go back on lockdown. So the thing is when you're on lockdown like that with your celly, it's all about conducting the proper program, giving the motherfucker their space, and everybody both working on being positive. During this time, we had just fell. Like, I just hit the line in Sentinella on Sea Yard. I just hit the line, and shit was already cracking. I'm like, fuck, I don't even get to use the fucking phone. Barely used the phone for like 2-3 times. Bam, shit happened, went on lockdown. White boys kept whacking white boys. So as we go on lockdown, I had already lucked out, and a special purchase package came for me. I didn't even know it was coming. My OG uncle, Mike Jones from SFVs from the Valley, old school white boy, 2 8-year terms under his belt. He knows the get down. Just recently died from complications to Hep C and other diseases he picked up in the system. Like, rest in peace, big homie. You know what's up. But the thing was I was just chilling and I didn't even fucking know. I didn't even know. But he sent me a fucking TV, and we could get those LCD TVs, a little 10-inch LCD TV that you can put in your cell, and you plug it in, you get a few stations, and you're chilling. You got your fucking TV. It wasn't like a week of that. I turned this shit off. I pushed it towards the wall. Fucking obviously massive respect for my uncle for just knowing and sending that. But I didn't want the TV no more. It was just causing me to hard time. In the pen, we call it hard timing. When we think too much about shit that's out of our control. Don't hard time right now. The way to not hard time is to stick to being productive. Knowingly raising your vibration, raising your frequency, raising your energy. This is done through the things I talk about. The exercise, reading positive shit, staying fucking in a positive mind state. People always ask me, how do you keep your energy high? I'm like, motherfucker, I'm accountable to my goddamn energy. I'm accountable to my motherfucking energy. So when my energy starts failing, I am accountable to it and I go pick it up. Don't just let your energy fail and then wait for the fucking pixie fairy to come fucking pick your ass up. You have it in you to pick yourself up at any fucking moment. So I turned my TV around and I started focusing on these 3 workouts a day. I started reading every quote book I can, handwriting them down, whole books, 800-page quote books, handwriting them down on paper. I started reading a few different books over and over that I liked. Only a few different books because that's all you have. You don't have endless fucking books. But I turned my TV against the wall, and the older homeboy who had the spot up top, Buddy Rogers from Fontana, he just signs down to me. He calls me to the window. My celly Steve at the time, he goes, hey Wes, Buddy wants you at the window. So I go over to the window. Window's about this fucking wide, this tall, and I'm looking up to the top tier. And I'm like, what's up, homeboy? And he's like, He's like, what the fuck? And I'm like, what? He's like, he said, why? Why'd you turn your TV off? Because they thought I was hard timing. They thought I was going through it. Like, these dudes in there are still thinking pleasure is the way to happiness. Like, when you get your pleasantries, you get your fucking ho-hos, your zuzus, your wham-whams. That's what we call fucking snacks in there. When you get your baby boy snacks, and you get your TV, and you get your stuff, your little creature comforts, life's gonna get better. Fuck no, it made it worse for me. It made it worse. I didn't want that. I found within that if I stepped into the pain, that if I faced it head on, it would go away quicker. It just stayed stagnant when I didn't face it. Those what ifs just kept crawling in my head. Those questions, those questions of why. Why don't they write me? Why aren't they answering? Why can't we come off lockdown? Why are we doing this? That's that victim shit. That's when I noticed that victim shit. Some motherfucker in my comments earlier was like, oh yeah, real positive, 10 million jobs lost. Oh fucking well. Oh well. What the fuck are you gonna do about it? Bitch about it and cry about it and point fingers? Or are you gonna get to it? There's jobs still. People are still working. Get one of those. I know it's not that easy, but nothing worth doing is. There will be a silver lining. There was a time in your life where you didn't have a job and you had no money, right? And then you made it to where you are now, right? What the fuck? How is this any different? Why is it woe is me? None of us are that bad. We're in America. Most of us are in America. But I mean, there's people around the world who live much worse than us. And my heart goes out to those people. When I was in the fucking shoe, I thought about people in fucking these impoverished countries who live horrific life conditions. Horrific. In your times of thinking, woe is me, when you're being selfish, thinking just about you, think about people who had it worse. And they had it worse way before fucking coronavirus. You don't have it that fucking bad, really, do you? Be fucking honest. I don't give a fuck, dude. Like, I don't. Because guess what? I think when people message me, they forgot what I went through. And fuck me, when I was going through that, I was thinking the way I'm telling you now. I was thinking from abundance. I was thinking, I'm so fucking strong, I don't care. I'm gonna materialize this love and strength in my heart while I'm sitting in silence in the morning, and I'm gonna think of it. I'm gonna think of it as vapor leaving my chest, leaving my heart, going to these people in these other countries who don't have 3 meals. I had 3 shitty trays. I was okay. I had 3 shitty trays. I wasn't starving. I had a roof over my head. There's people who didn't have that. So I sat in deep silence, deep meditation, and I would think about all my strength and all my love coming from my heart as if it was vapor going to the people who needed it most. And these could have been fictional people I made up in my head, but I like to believe that these were real people who really needed me, and I was really sending it to them, and they really received it, and it really made their day. The glow of one warm thought during your worst days is everything. And why do you think I retained all this wisdom and all these quotes? Because I was dying inside. My heart was broken. I didn't know when I'd ever see my parents again. It had been 5 years at this point, 6 years, 7 years, 8 years, 9 years, 10 fucking years that I hadn't seen my mother's face. You guys, don't fucking just zero in on your fucking situation. 30,000 foot view. It's not that bad. Your fucking problems are minuscule. It's time to spend every ounce of energy finding the solution, because if one motherfucker found it, then you can find it too. Get to fucking work.